It's not broke. Don't fix it. You know what I'm saying, Chris? 2 weeks in a row.
No one can hear that.
Hey, everybody. Yes. Nice and smooth. Hey, everybody. Yes.
Hi. What? What's happening?
Hey, don't step on my intro, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just clumsy.
Hey, everybody. Yes.
This is the weirdest intro I've ever done. And I've done some weird intros. Oh my gosh. I don't know how this is going to
go. Hold on. Chris, hold on. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting till the losers drop off. They're getting frustrated.
Oh yeah. I thought this was a Google.
They've heard good reviews.
Yeah. Look at all the stars.
Reviews that got recommended by a friend. A friend they trust that only recommends good stuff. Okay, now there's a ringer going on from someone's phone. Okay, let's keep that going.
Yeah.
Anybody want to choose some food? You got any food left, Chris? Should we choose some food?
There we go. Some annoying sounds.
Talk about any off-topic stuff. Okay, we'll do that for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. We're going to talk off-topic for the next 10 minutes, so go ahead and just skip to the next one.
Just check in later.
Yeah. And
okay, hold on. They're getting mad enough to leave a bad review. I don't want that. We got to cut it off now. Okay,
now we're good. Google ads.
Nailed it, Chris. We nailed it. We nailed that intro. Okay, we got rid of the bad guys. But they weren't mad enough.
It's just fans.
Review, so
it's just fans now. So we're good. Hey, fans. Welcome to the Paid Search Podcast, where we talk about Google ads. I am going to take over the introductions. I am Chris Schaefer.
Good. You should.
And with me is the award-winning Google Ads manager, Jason Rothman. For you new people who have an incredible temperament and have not quit and left yet, Jason and I both run independent Google Ads companies where we freelance and manage campaigns for companies around the world. Jason and I have never met. I assume that he has a bottom half, never seen it, but together we talk about Google Ads and share our endless knowledge that we have from real world things. And I got good news for you. Jason's, he's teased, and I've done no preparation, which is about the same as every other week. But this is particularly interesting because Jason has taken on all authority for prepping for what our lesson is today. So I'm excited. Jason, I get to ask, how are you today?
Doing good, Chris. I think we can both tell that things have been going great this week.
Yes,
I guess we record this on a Thursday. We're cruising into a nice holiday weekend here, celebrating the world's Independence Day.
Mm-hmm. The world?
Isn't July 4th? Don't they celebrate it everywhere?
They should. I mean,
they should, honestly.
Should shoot off fireworks because America was free on that day, and we are the greatest country in the world. So
I invite the rest of the world to celebrate. Maybe we can't shoot off fireworks in this country this weekend in a lot of parts of the country. But hey, if you can shoot them off for us, send us a clip or something.
Some people might think it's good. Gunshots now if you use too much fireworks right now. It might not be a good idea. But it's middle of summer here. On the other side of the world, it's winter. But everywhere, Google Ads is hot, right? Google Ads is where it's at. And I want to tell...
Hold on, Chris, that is the truth. I hear about agencies all the time that run all different kinds of platforms and stuff like that. And I was just telling someone the other day, they were like, why do you specialize in Google? I was like, well, because it's the one that works. Why wouldn't I? This is the one that works. So you're right. I just have to say that's a good way to put it. It's the place where it's at. It's hot. Because people are looking for exactly what you offer. It works. And by the way, I mean, if you can't get that to work.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you got problems as a marketer. If you can't get in front of people that are typing for exactly what they're offering, say, oh, we're not getting conversions.
Don't say that, because I've had quite a few campaigns fail, so I don't always get it right. And I know you don't always get it right. So
we'll talk about it. It's about the website. It's about the way that business handles those leads. But in terms of getting the keywords right,
in terms of
what we're going to be talking about today.
In terms of what Google does, that's always solid. So I hear you on that. Well, that's right. Well, for those of you that are already on the train, moving along in the Google Ads universe, making money, getting leads, doing good, well, I'm gonna move you up to the next level with Optio. opteo.com/PSP2. This is the tool you've been waiting for. I don't care who you are, whether you're a freelancer, an agency, whether you are an in-house manager for an agency or you're a white label, you have lots of agencies who contract to you, or maybe you are doing it on your own. You're out there trying to learn Google Ads and improve your own campaign. This is the tool to get things done faster, because there's no one thing that limits everyone on Google Ads, and it's time investment. Later on in the hour, I'm going to guide you guys through what it's like to make changes in Opteo, because I think it's really surprisingly simple to go through the improvements and look at all the ways that you can improve the campaign very quickly. So look forward to that later in the hour. I'm going to discuss that, kind of show you guys what that looks like. But for now, while you got some time, pull your car over to the side, go to opteo.com/PSP2 for a 8-week free trial. That's double the time that you get on the regular site. Use a little chat bubble down at the bottom to say you listen to the Paid Search podcast, and you're going to thank us afterwards. So, Jason?
Oh, thanks, Chris. And for people that are not patrons of the show and don't listen to the after show every week, they don't know that we made up, Chris. We had a little fight at the end of the last show. Mom and Dad don't usually fight here on the show, but it was. Can you tell them how real it was, Chris? It was real.
It was. I was telling Jason after, and for those of you that join us on Patreon, I'm sorry, I'm going to steal a little bit of the funds that you pay, and I'm going to share a little bit of what happened. But at one point, Jason's yelling at me, and we're virtually talking to each other. I had to look to the corner of the screen because Jason's eye contact was so intense from hundreds of miles away. I had to break eye contact. He was so mad. And usually when people get mad, I just laugh. So that didn't help. So it was fun.
Well, Chris, it was heated. It was emotional, and we did make up, but I just wanted to take that one step further. So I wrote out a little bit of an apology letter, a statement.
I don't believe it.
And I would like you to read it. So if you would check your chat message right now that I was talking to you about before the show, you can pull that up and you can read that to me for our audience to hear, and I need to hear this. So
wait. This
you're ready.
This is your apology that you're saying to me, but I'm reading it to you. Is that correct?
No, this is someone who's apologizing, who's reading their apology. So go ahead and start reading.
Okay. That's why you wanted me to have this. Okay. Now it's all making sense. Dear leader, I want to take a moment and sincerely, genuinely, clearly, and unequivocally apologize for my actions last week and say definitely, I'm sorry. All caps.
Definitively. If it was misspelled, that would be my fault. And I would be sorry for that if it was my fault. But
your mic broke up there for a second. Sorry.
Say definitively.
Definitively, I'm sorry. If I could take back questioning your judgment, of course I would. But unfortunately, I cannot undo the sins that I have done in the past. If I could take back questioning your judgment, of course I would. But unfortunately, I cannot undo this. All I can do from this point on is to continue to look up to you and show you the utmost level of respect that you deserve. You are a great man, and I apologize for that. And to call you human is to disrespect you. You are truly a gift to this world. Oh my gosh. And I want to promise you I will never, ever do anything like that again. Thank you. Wow.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. We can move on now. So we're cleared up. So thank you for doing that.
Okay.
Oh, let it out. Let it out. Have not been bottling that up for a week. So that feels good now. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's get to what everybody's here for. What I'm here for.
I was here for that.
I'm waiting for the name.
Okay, so Chris, so you and I, we're kind of like in the Matrix. We deal with advertisers all week. We deal with clients. We're running our businesses. We're doing this podcast. We're talking to other professionals. We're just in the mix here when it comes to everything Google Ads. And we've been doing this show for 4 years. I was doing Google Ads for a year or so before that. You were doing Google Ads for multiple years before that. We're just getting better and better and better. And I think as we've grown our skill sets, one of the things we've both seen is that simple is better when it comes to Google Ads. Just having that mindset. And that's not to say we don't manage accounts with tons of campaigns, and some of them have thousands of keywords, thousands of negative keywords, but it all starts from simple concepts. Chris, just to stop there, you were telling me you were seeing people praise the Lazy Man build.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have ever thought they would praise a build with a crazy name like that?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. It was, I think it was last year, where we just kind of talked about how we build. And by the end of the episode, we came up with what was essentially the low energy Lazy Man build, where you just pick a very casual set of keywords, low number of keywords, and let them run. Very simple approach. So it's great because the pressure of management is put off. You don't have to immediately come up with 400 keywords, 1,800 keywords, and have this incredibly complex campaign to manage on day one. Instead, you grow with the campaign. The complexity grows with the campaign as success grows. So, yeah, simplicity is where it's at. So I'm curious, how can I even make my life simpler? That sounds good.
Well, in that line of thinking, Chris, I've been talking to a lot of clients recently about keywords, and there's a lot of conversations, you've probably had this yourself, where someone wants to target a new keyword and you're like, oh, that's not a good idea. There's just a lot of situations where I'm trying to explain keywords to clients, and I've come up with a system here, and I've named it we haven't even named it, but I've given it a very simple coding system, and I've done that to try to see if this gets out there and people run with this, because I think it is so effective. But basically, it's just breaking your keywords down into red, yellow, green keywords, just like red, yellow, and green we understand. Red means stop, yellow means slow down, and green means go. And so it's all about intent. Red keywords are keywords you don't want. It's keywords where the person doing the search either shows no sign that they have an intent to become a customer for your advertiser, or they show a negative sign where you know they're not going to become a customer. And we'll go through some examples. Yellow would be they might become a customer based on their search, based on their intent. And then green is their intent, and you need to target that keyword. So just to stop there, red, yellow, green, do you like that? Is there anything else you need, or does that kind of fill the plate there?
Well, let me ask this. I think I know the answer, but you're not basing this, considering our discussion last week, where we talked about search term and close variants. I assume you're basing this on search terms and not the actual keyword itself. The intent of the user is best determined by the search term and not the keyword. Is that correct? So you're inferring the value of the keyword, whether it's green, yellow, or red, based on the actual search term that they produce. Is that right?
I am using the words keyword and search term interchangeably.
Okay.
I am applying this theory to keywords and search terms equally. And of course, keywords are what you target, search terms are what you get. It's what people actually type in Google. It all ends with the search term. So for people like you and me and people listening, yeah, we're talking search terms basically. But for the general public, talking to clients, maybe people aren't as familiar with search terms, we call them keywords just because that's what people are familiar with. But yeah, that's a good point. It all comes down to the actual search term. So if the keyword doesn't look so hot, but the search terms are great, well, it's still good because the search terms are great. But let's talk about them on an equal, interchangeable basis.
Okay, sure. All right. So just to clarify, we talked about this last week. Go listen to last week's episode. But a close variant means that we're in a close variant. We are in a post-close variant world right now, where you put one keyword in, the search terms that you get.
A statement as smart as that, you now have a PhD. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
You can go on cable news and say you're a PhD because you want to use statements like that are that hoity-toity.
It does sound really
a post-close variant world. I'm drooling.
Wow.
Where do you want me to go?
Thank
Lead
you.
me.
Thank you
my
for
PhD, my doctor.
Thank you for stopping me. You're right. That does sound. I'm going to use that in my next client call. They'll just get so hot. They'll be like, "Wow, I hired the right guy."
I mean, I'm all about persuasion these days and trying to do things like that, but you gotta also live with yourself at the end of the day.
That's true.
So,
well,
you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and to be a guy that walks around saying post-close variant world. I get, if you want to be that guy, be that guy, but man, that's
hey, the dirty stuff happens in the office and I walk out, I'm clean again, but the family loves the money. I'm taking care of them. I do what I have to do.
All right, well, continue, my doctor.
All right, so we're living in here we go. Ready? I'm going to drop the bomb. We're living in a post-close variant world, ladies and gentlemen. And what that means is the keyword that you put into Google Ads is not necessarily the search term that is matched to what the person searches. So when Jason says it's he's referring to both, we're just going to ignore that variant that happens. But to be clear, you put the word moving truck as a keyword, and you could get a click on a search that says trucks for sale, right? That's what a very loose, close variant could mean, is you get a click on that person who actually searched trucks for sale, but you wanted to advertise on moving truck, something like that. So,
well, it's all a circle, Chris. Keywords and search terms. I see this conversation is going to be difficult if we don't focus on search terms because we cut to the chase. We're focused on search terms as managers. It's hard for us to even get out of that thinking. So here's how it all comes together. Yeah, let's talk about these as search terms going forward. But you know what you do with search terms? You add them as keywords.
Yeah, right.
So it all goes together. But yeah, I think for this conversation, since we're talking about intent, we can talk about search terms. So what's your initial impression of this series? Are you starting to see how this would be a good way to communicate to people? Red, yellow, green. Yes, maybe no.
Yeah, for communication, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the other way that I communicate is I say high funnel, medium funnel, low funnel. And not everyone
Which is good,
gets
but
that.
It's different.
Yeah, I mean that's inside baseball language. I mean that's marketing language, which most people wouldn't really care. You have to explain what the funnel is, and they still may not get it. So, red, green, yellow, absolutely. I said that out of order.
Yeah, you got to know your audience. So if you're advertising for a medium-sized company, they've got 30 employees, 50 employees, and you're talking to the marketing director, the marketing person, you can talk about funnels. You're on a collect call with a felon in prison who's got only 30 days left and he's launching a moving company and he doesn't have a website yet, but he wants you to run his ads.
You guys,
you got to be talking red, yellow, green, because you use the word funnel. Someone in prison might mean
you guys don't know how funny that was.
Red, yellow, green.
For those who've been listening long enough, that was funny. That was good because I know what Jason's opinion is of moving companies. So that was
no, they love it, Chris. They love it. They love it. They love it. I pull them up, I slap them, put them down, insult them. They're like, Jason, please run my ads.
That's beautiful.
They love it. They love it because that industry's full. It is absolutely full of not so great people, but then there are some great businesses that thrive because of that. So, but anyway, yeah, you got to know your audience and funnel versus the color system here. So, Chris, let's talk about red keywords. Red keywords are keywords that the person doing the search, they either tell you 100% with certainty they don't want what you're offering with their search. You can tell by their intent. Or it's so rare. So like an example would be for a DUI attorney. Someone does a search drunk driving. That shows up in your search term. So we target it or block it. I'm going to say block it because someone doing the search drunk driving or drunk driving phrase match. Well, forget phrase match because people are going to get confused with negatives. Yeah. But search term drunk driving. Someone could make the argument, hey, 1 out of every 100 or 200 people doing that search is going to be in the process of doing searches about drunk driving because they have a case and they need to find a DUI lawyer. And I'm going to make the case even though they're not telling us with their search term there that they don't need a DUI attorney, it's so open and unclear that I don't want to spend my advertiser money on such an open thing when I know the conversion rate from drunk driving exact match is going to be just so small that it's not going to pay off. So those are the two kinds of red keywords. Now, I know pushback I've gotten when I've given this theory to people is, well, don't talk about red keywords because why would I ever target red keywords? So do you want to kind of give me an example? Or do you agree with me that they should be talked about because you do see them pop up in your search terms? Is that a viable thing to say?
Absolutely. I would say red keywords is it's a bit of a misnomer because it doesn't mean, I wouldn't say that red means stop. Red means take extreme caution. So I think the stoplight illusion that we're talking about here, red means stop. I think it means extreme caution. And
oh my gosh. See, now you're taking my simple theory and you're going to add in orange. Yellow and red.
No, I would not.
You're going to add in orange.
No, I'm not going to do that. I agree. That'd be way too complex. But I absolutely.
I see what you're saying. There's a dark red and there's a light red. Like dark red, they're telling you they don't need you.
Yeah.
So someone doing a search like drunk driving statistics in Rhode Island, the year 2000. No, they don't. They're not looking for a lawyer. They tell you that. Someone searching drunk driving laws. Well, that's a different word, but drunk driving. I could see how there would be some red keywords that you might think, hey, we're spending all the money we can. They always ask me to spend more and get more. Let's try some stuff out.
So it sounds like
I can get that.
It sounds like what you're saying is it's more difficult to determine whether it's red or yellow when a keyword is just one word or two words, is what you're saying. The determination of the actual
that's for sure,
color can actually be much more definable the longer the term is. Does that sound?
Well, yeah, we're playing detective here. So the more pieces of evidence you give us, drunk driving search versus drunk driving statistics in Rhode Island, we know a lot more about the person doing the second search. But in general, Chris, for most campaigns, and I'm also going to throw in the word moving truck there as an example, as a red keyword, moving trucks near me, moving truck rental, I'm going to block that as someone who manages a lot of moving company campaigns because, yes, some percent of people searching for a moving truck to rent might also happen to need moving labor to help them load the truck. But we're dealing with $2,000, $3,000 budgets. We're spending it fully on keywords like movers near me. Why do we need to mess with moving truck rental? And unless we're trying to constantly grow. So I'm just going to throw that stuff in red and not target it. And if a client wants to go down that road, we can. But I'm going to be pretty leaning towards filling up that red column.
I would say a rule that possibly could go along with this is reds are cheap, yellows are moderate, and greens would be expensive.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, at this point, you're saying, the question was, do reds belong in a campaign? I would say, yes, they can belong, but they need the appropriate bid
Some can.
for that. Yes.
But at the same time, if I'm managing a moving campaign and I have a loose broad match modified keyword or something like that, or even broad keyword, and I see the word moving truck come through my search terms, I'm adding truck and moving truck as negative keywords.
True. Okay. Yep.
Because for most advertisers, I'm going to throw those in red.
But for drunk driving. Same for drunk driving? You wouldn't put like a
exact
25.
Exact match negative. I would.
Oh.
Exact match negative.
Oh, you wouldn't do like an exact match with 25-cent bid or 50-cent bid, something super cheap just to keep it controlled?
Or are you auditing my account now and trying to steal a client from me?
That's my job. That's what I do.
Theoretically, yes, of course. Yeah, we should add drunk driving, exact match. We should put a 25-cent bid on it and see if once in every 10 light years we get a conversion. Well, you know what, Chris? The asteroid's coming. And the asteroid's going to hit before that keyword brings in a conversion.
That's true. But I'm playing the role of the guy who's auditing the account and wants your client. It's going to say, I noticed that optimization.
Okay, no, you're right. It's a valid question because clients could ask that. They could go, hey, I did a search, drunk driving, I was just doing searches. I don't see our ad there. I see someone else's ad there. And that's when I go into, well, yeah, we're smart. Other people are stupid. But no, something like that. No, Chris, here's the thing, I'm working with limited budgets.
Okay.
Most of the time.
There's the key word.
So if I'm working with limited budgets, let's just play it straightforward, and let's get some leads and let's get conversions and let's make a lot of money. But you want to keep growing your budget. You want to keep growing your budget and pay me to keep growing a large account. Yeah, we can try stuff out like this and see. But you got to draw the line somewhere, and that's why we have the red category. So Chris, yellow, you're going to love.
I am.
Yellow keywords are keywords where the intent of the search tells you they might want to become a customer for your advertiser. They might. It's not 100% and it's not a no. It's a might. And it's not a drunk driving's in the same category as drunk driving lawyers, moving truck, moving companies. It's not a might like that. It's a stronger might. So, I mean, you want to talk percentages, you want to talk PDP, you want to talk proven undeveloped, you want to talk PV10, you want to talk oil and gas reserves.
What? The wrong podcast.
And you want to talk about proven, probable, and possible, 90%, 50%, 10%. Maybe we're talking about that here, Chris. Maybe we're talking about red keywords are like a 10% chance they could have the intent.
There we go.
Maybe yellow keywords are a 50% chance they could have the intent.
There we go.
Maybe green keywords are 90. That's one way to think about it. Don't get tied up on percentages. But anyway, these are a lot closer to 50-50. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 10, but you can control your bids. We'll talk about that. Yellow, couple examples for you, Chris. And I want you to tell me if you would target these. You're advertising for a DUI attorney, the search, how to appeal a DUI conviction. You're advertising for a moving company who tells you they do long distance, they're based in Texas, and the search is moving to Los Angeles. Do you target those two words for those advertisers?
I definitely like the first one,
Keywords?
How to appeal a DUI conviction. I really like the how to when it's applied to a professional service. That's, I can't believe I'm sharing that to millions of people, but
billions, please.
Yeah.
Don't come me short.
Right. Well, Corona.
No, what did I say?
Corona dropped us off.
Trillions. Sorry.
Trillions.
Oh, you're right.
Corona.
Trillions. Now we're down to billions because of Corona.
That's right.
We're at billions.
So, and that's not because of the death count. That's just because people stopped going to work and listening to us quite as much. The value of someone that's searching for how to do something and it's only something that's a professional service, that's a great keyword. I would say on the other one, moving to Los Angeles, no way. I would put that into red because I think that's too far out. I would put more into the yellow, something like a moving quote or moving, reviews. How about that? Moving company reviews, something that's where it's, you can tell they're shopping, but it's not quite the core term yet. There's nothing really specific about it. So I'd say that may be a little more yellow, but I don't know. That's the way I think. But one thing I'll say that I really liked is how you put numbers to it. You backed off on the numbers, but I'm going to say stick to your numbers because I really like that. And what I would say is people always have a hard time when I do training with people, ChrisSchaefer.com, I will get a lot of questions about, well, what should I choose? Like people get hung up on the bids. They always get hung up on that. Which key, how much should I bid for this keyword? How much should I bid for this keyword? And with this red, green, yellow, I keep saying it that way, red, yellow, green, if we put a 10%, 50%, 90% on that answers the question. If you put it into each one of those categories, and let's say 90% is $1, that means your yellow ones should be 50 cents and your red ones should be 10 cents. If, assuming you shouldn't have too many red, but the ones that you do have. So
if your greens are at $1, take half the bids and put the half bid on yellow.
Yep.
And then if you want to try the reds that could become, not the reds where they tell you they don't have the intent, but reds where they could have the intent, and you want to try and put a 10% bid on there.
Right.
And just see what happens.
That's what people always get hung up on is we talk about manual.
I like that.
We're the king of manual bidding till we die. I
am.
Right.
There's one king.
Well, I'm your queen. Can I be your queen?
There you go.
There we go.
You can be my queen.
I know I can. So that's what people get hung up on, is because they think it's so intimidating. I don't know what to pick. Should I do, $1.12? Should I do, $1? Should I do 95 cents? I'm like, back off the pennies, just $1.50 and then 10. Start simple. And then the
or if it was a bigger industry, 10, 5, 1 for dollars.
Sure.
Depending on the industry,
I'm using simple numbers. I'm a simple man. So, but yes, that's it.
Yeah, I like that. But again, I'm going to draw a line. I am going to disagree on the red. I'm going to take the red out.
Okay.
Because
I think that's
for me, what I do is I just take out red. But if you're going to talk green versus yellow and bids, I do like that. Take the bids down by half. That's a good rule of thumb, a good starting place. And that's generally what you want to do. So let's say you do like that, how to appeal a DUI conviction. Would it surprise you, even though you like that keyword, that you could get 20 clicks on that over 2 months and get no leads from it?
Oh, yeah.
Would that surprise you if that happened?
Not at all. Yeah.
Okay. So you do agree, even though it's a very cool, different, I'm your Google Ads manager, we're going to find all these great keywords. You do agree that it's iffy.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know if they need a lawyer or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what people get upset. Like, why haven't I gotten a phone call yet? Why hasn't anyone filled out my form? I don't think that's a failure. There's a level of success. Of course, I always want people to fill out the form or call the phone number and for you to make money. But when it comes to Google Ads, the level of success comes down to quality of traffic and how to appeal a DUI conviction. If that actual search, I wouldn't let that eat up too much budget, but absolutely, that's a qualified search.
So both you and I agree on these yellow keywords because it's obvious to us that some people aren't going to be looking for a lawyer. Some people are. The intent is the level. We know it's going to go both ways, but since some people are, that's why we're testing it, because it will bring in some leads. Now, sometimes you'll have a yellow keyword and you'll be like, whoa, I thought this was yellow. This is a gem.
Yeah.
And it actually produces like a green keyword, but you don't always know that. And so what you want to do is you want to protect yourself when you add a yellow keyword, and you protect yourself with lower bids. You control your bidding, and that's how you avoid it eating up too much of your budget. If it's a super high volume keyword, then you'll just catch that pretty quickly. So both you and I agree, lower the bids on yellow keywords when you're testing them, and then let the data guide you from there. If they don't produce, lower the bids even more. If they do, raise them, and you go from there.
Let me tell a story very quick about what happened with me very recently with a yellow keyword that immediately brought out a green that was out of nowhere. I had a company that sells training, okay, in a very specific field. It's a very expensive training system, thousands of dollars to receive this certificate in something. So I'm out there, how to become blah, 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 training, how to get training, how to get certified, all this kind of stuff. And I have some, red, yellow, green kind of stuff going. You know what happened was on some of my yellow stuff, this close variant world that we live in, I was finding that people were doing searches for so-and-so job or this particular, and then the word job or career afterwards. And you know what was happening? People were converting on that. And they were yellow keywords, they were kind of like, just kind of the base terms, but it turned out really good because it turns out that people were actually searching, how do I get this job? Then they see, oh, I could sign up for this certificate, this license thing. Then I'm guaranteed to get a job because I'm licensed. I've got a certificate for it. So that was an example of something that you start with a risk, you find something specific in the search terms, and you find gold, or green to stick to the right colors. You find green in those keywords, and then immediately pull those out, put those in as keywords as full bid, high priority green level keywords. And that was it. It was. You're
lucky you didn't add job, career as negatives right from the start. And you're lucky you didn't negative out the job seeking audience.
Yep. Because
from the start,
they've been working really well. So yeah, really interesting.
So you let the data guide you. If they do horrible, you can lower the bids or pause them. If they do great, you start treating them like green and you can raise the bids. Question we would get, Chris, is how do you test them out? I'll tell you how I test them. I take the search term that I find or the keyword and I add it as a keyword. And then I control it with the bids. Because I do manual bidding in most cases, I'm able to just throw it in there and move on with my day because I can control the situation. If I was doing max clicks or some kind of automated bidding, I'd be very nervous about putting in moving to Los Angeles in the middle of a moving campaign because it might start eating up all the traffic and might not bid the way I want to. So I think it's all about your bids, Chris. If you do manual bids, you have more freedom to throw these yellow keyword tests wherever you want. Same ad group, same campaign, new ad group, whatever you want. You're in total control, but you can leave it in the same setup you have currently. If you're doing automated bids, that's where you got to start looking at different ad groups for testing out yellow keywords or different campaigns. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Is that another proponent of another reason that manual is great?
Yeah. And I get so hung up on this because we get so much pushback from people not believing us about manual. I'm not the word picture guy like you are, Jason, but I just had an image. Let's imagine you have 3 dogs, okay? 3 large dogs that are very hungry, okay? You put bowls down. There we go.
It's a good boy. It's a good boy.
No, role playing's for later. So we put down 3 bowls. The only difference...
We really made up this episode. We really made up. Oh.
3 bowls. The only difference is one bowl is very large, one bowl's medium size, and one bowl is very small. The same amount of food goes into each. Okay? Equally hungry dogs. You let them dig in. You know what happens with the large bowl? They eat that, they get the whole mouth on it, and they just eat it really fast, right? That is a broad match keyword in an automated campaign. They can just...
Or super high volume phrase or exact.
Exactly. Something that is high volume, let's say that. It doesn't have to be broad, it can be something that's high volume. Something that's it's just going to eat it up really quick. That your budget is the food, okay? The medium, we don't really even need the medium because who cares? Let's just go hot and cold. So the small one is forced to slow down because they can't get their muzzle all the way in. They can't eat quite as fast, and they need to, take smaller bites. That is a controlled manual bid of a high volume keyword, but you reduce the bid. You reduce the size of the bowl, and they can't eat quite as quickly. So when you check back a week later, you didn't blow your whole budget for a week on one keyword that got out of control, So I don't know. What do you think? I tried my best.
Yeah, Chris, no, you're right. That's a good way to look at it. And I will tell you that controlling the bids, if you do it right, does work to control the volume. Because now that I think about it, I'm getting a little bit nervous here because I've got pure, real stuff, the good stuff, Chris, pure broad keywords in some campaigns with some extremely large daily budgets.
I've heard of those.
Big daily budgets.
Yes.
Yeah, you've heard of them. Big daily budgets, big. And you know what? I feel comfortable throwing pure broad keywords, boom, right in there. Go for it, Google. Try to spend it. You know why? Because I put on a fraction of the regular bid, and it really does control it. It does control it. So,
yep. Okay.
So, Chris, moving on to our final thing here. I'm just going to jump ahead real quick. Green, but you said the word gold earlier, and it's got the nice alliteration, the G's, green, gold. And now what people are going to try to do, they're going to try to come into my red, yellow, green. I already have seen them do it. And they're going to try to talk about greens that are just better than anything else. And they're going to call it gold. And they're going to say on the gold ones, you should bid even higher. But I'm not going to accept that because my theory, that I created, was about intent.
Yeah.
And so I don't care if for 1 month, one green keyword has a 40% conversion rate and the account's used to 10%. Well, you know what's going to happen probably?
It's going to drop.
That's a small amount of data, and that one's going to drop and another one's going to rise. And as long as the intent is the same, why should DUI lawyer Dallas, Texas perform differently than DUI attorneys in Dallas, Texas? You know what I mean? Like, it really shouldn't perform that different.
A call is a call.
So I'm not going to accept gold. Yeah, a good intent is intent. I'm not going to accept gold.
The only way I would say, we're going to get some people saying stuff like this on our Facebook group. Join our Patreon if you want to join that. But I would say that possible. We're talking about services, professional services. I would say there's possibility of people saying, actually, Jason, there is a gold standard, and it would be if you had a e-commerce sales system where you're running ROAS, and some ROAS keyword has like a 20 times return, and all the others are 5. That would equate to something that is not equal to everything else. I think that's you'd have to say if you're equating ROAS. A 2.0 ROAS is not the same as something that's getting a 12.0.
Right, I get that. But those are different ad groups. Those are different potentially campaigns, but definitely different ad groups. Values being that different, different kinds of services, because you can do that for service companies as well. But so I don't accept gold. But getting back to green, the intent of green is, I like your 90% thing we came up with. And that's fair, because if someone does a search, DUI lawyer, Dallas, Texas, who lives in Dallas right now, and there's an attorney advertising, guess who could be doing that search right now? It could be a listener of the Paid Search Podcast going to Google's to see what the ads are there. So just because the keywords are spot on, we always say we know the intent is that they could become a customer for your business. Every now and then there's a search, like someone just doing research or someone looking up a competitor's ads, who knows? It's not a 1-for-1. That's why the conversion rate's not 100%. But so that's why the 90% thing is kind of a good threshold there. But basically, green means, yes, with as much certainty as we can have in Google Ads, they are looking for your service or your product, and they are telling you they want to become a customer, or they are telling you they have the potential to become a customer. So sticking to our examples, DUI attorney, someone does a search, DUI lawyer, Dallas, Texas, and you're in a DUI attorney's office in Dallas, Texas, spot on. You can't do better than that. So that's an example. And then you're a moving company, the search movers near me, that's green. That's someone telling you, with as much certainty as we can have with Google Ads, I'm looking for your service. So the questions, Chris, are how strong do you bid on those? And then the second goal is how do you find more and more of them? So let's talk about bidding first. Generally, well, let me ask you this because I'm curious. You work with a lot of campaigns. You're doing a lot of yellow, green. You're getting leads. You're getting conversions. Could you live without yellow? Is it all coming from green? Or does a lot of it come from yellow? Does it come from the random reds, as you like to say, and you throw in some reds? Or is this just a straightforward world and conversions come from greens?
Oh man.
Like, how important are they to you?
Yeah, that's a good.
'Cause I've changed my opinion on this recently.
That's a good question, because I would say if someone's unexperienced, not very experienced in Google Ads, I would say that they would say green is where it's at. You got to have all green. But I have been surprised too many times, just constantly surprised by why is this converting? Just like the jobs thing I talked about, I'm just surprised. I'm like, what? I don't understand why this is working. It seems like this is really what people would be searching if they want this, but it doesn't happen. I get tons of clicks with this green, and it's, I can say it's qualified search all the time, but the conversions, the ROAS, whatever it is I'm measuring, that's coming from some of the yellows. And so I need to figure out what search terms those are and move them over. So I think you're exactly right. I think, if you were to build a pyramid, it's going to look like reds are the tiny tip at the top, yellows make up a large amount, but then suddenly it's more like a house. It's not really a pyramid. I would say my yellows and greens kind of flatten out right there. It has a point at the top, and then the yellows and greens are probably about the same volume as far as my campaign.
So the more experienced you are at Google Ads, the more likely you are to have yellows producing conversions all inside of an account, just all over the place.
That sounds like a book. That sounds like the last chapter of a book right there. That's beautiful. The more experience, the more valuable knowledge you get from your campaign.
You like those short books, don't you, Chris? The real short ones.
The real short ones. 2 pages and then the conclusion. Yeah, that's all I can get through. Yeah. You see my book. You see
some people believe that listening. No, they don't see it because we're
right.
only
You guys can't see it.
They don't see
surrounded by books.
They don't see your comic books behind
comic book. You jerk.
No, Chris is a big reader.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding, Chris.
Oh. Well, okay.
Chris is a big reader. So, yeah, Chris. I mean, honestly, lately I've been thinking more and more about green keywords, and I've been thinking, why are we playing these games? Like, green keywords are the producers. That's how I've been feeling lately, Chris. But at the same time, I do have accounts where I have tons of yellow keywords producing.
Because it's hard.
And at the same time, I have dealt with that frustration where you target a straight-on green keyword over and over and over, and it doesn't freaking produce conversions the way you want to. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. So you still have to let the data guide you, but it all comes down to whether it's green or yellow. That's a starting place. But where it ends is with the data. You let the data kind of guide you with what you want your account to be getting traffic from.
Would you say the longer the lifespan of an account and the campaigns in the account, would you say that the pyramid starts to flatten out and more of the green starts to widen and the other two start to narrow? Would you say that? I mean, I'm not talking about weeks or months. I'm talking about years. Would you say that that's what campaigns start to look like, is a stronger green base and a much lighter yellow and red?
So I would say over years, I would say the green that I keep in there that proves itself, I get that it cements, if you will.
Okay.
The foundation cements. Like I get attached to those greens. We bid them confidently. We bid them strongly because we know they work over that amount of time. And I also gain confidence with them. If we go through a run where some greens don't produce conversions for a week or a month or whatever, I don't care. I'm going to keep running them because I've seen what they can do over time.
Okay.
Back in my head, I'm thinking close variance, things are always changing, monitor the situation. But the greens that stay around are really, we gain confidence in them. And then I think the yellows, even though they sound yellowish still, when you look at the keywords, we almost treat them like greens because
they've proved themselves.
They've proven themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would say over time, when it comes to greens, what you got to be doing, your job is finding more of them. And I was thinking about this the other day. I guarantee you, if anybody let me inside their account right now and they think they're a hotshot, whether they're an agency person or an advertiser, business owner, and they think they've got all the greens. No, you don't. I will take you out to the shed and embarrass you because I will find green keywords, green searches that people are doing, and I will soundproof those walls.
Oh, gosh.
I will padlock that door, son.
Okay. I'm going to run and
I will wrestle you in mud.
What? Okay.
Naked.
What? Wait. You really? Okay. As promised, I am going to tell you guys and give you a brief example of what it's like to look at a campaign and manage within Optio. Optio.com/PSP2. So let me explain kind of what this looks like. It's really great. So when you log in, what you see is a beautiful layout with colors, graphical interface of all of your accounts. You see graphs and charts, and then you click into one in this long list of improvements. Okay, and it's based on priority. So I'm looking at the screen now, and I have medium priority, high priority, low priority. I have different types of priorities to take care of. I can dismiss them or I can open improvement. So I'm going to click on one of them. This one's a low priority, says write new ad. So what I do is I click on it and it says, here's your current ad and here's what we're suggesting that you do for a new one. I say, oh, okay, that looks cool. I open ad writer and I can fill in some of the suggestions that they have, write the new ad, and then preview new ad, and then create it. And then I've moved on. I didn't have to, all I had to do was keep clicking the next button, fill in the information that needs, and it's done. That's how the speed is delivered with Optio. It's a optimized environment for you to make changes. It's for people who already know what they need to do. They just need to get it done. So Optio.com/PSP2. get things done faster in Google Ads.
Chris, what do you think of this overall theory? Are you going to communicate this way? Are you going to use this? Are you going to think about this when you're managing accounts? Are you going to forget it and let it float off into the fart-riddled wind there? What are you going to be doing?
I'm definitely not going to forget it. It's not something that's different from how I think, so I'm not going to lie and say it changed my perspective. It just helps to solidify and communicate very well. So if I did use it, instead of using funnels and talking that whole marketing language, I would use this instead. This is a red keyword in the world of red, yellow, green. So I could see this very much changing some of the communication methods with my clients and agencies and things like that. So yeah, I could see that. But as far as, changing my management, no, because I think it's right in line with how I manage. You and I are Twinkies in that, we like to manage the same way because it's successful. It's the best way to do it. And this theory, this green theory, it's great. I like the communication of it, the simplicity and the ease of communication of how you can visualize red, green, red, yellow, green. I just need to learn to say it in the right order.
Yeah, well, good. I think for me, this was kind of a way I was thinking, but I didn't have a way to verbalize it. And now when I think about it, I'm going to definitely be kind of verbalizing it in my head that way. Red, yellow, green. Do I want to target it? Do I want to test it? Or do I not want to target it? So it was kind of a game changer for me. So Chris, I'm glad you like the theory. It's a fun episode here.
Yeah, it's good.
We're going to move it on over to Patreon. And I'm going to give you an example of how these green keywords made a new client happy. And we're going to talk about a few other things. So if you want to listen to that, head over to paidsearchpodcast.com, click on the Patreon banner, $2 a month, unfortunately, and go sign up.
All right, guys, we'll catch you next week.